Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi team, I'm Fitz Kohler, your energized fitness expert, author, and race announcer from fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. Today I'm excited because I'm going to answer some of your questions. That's right, as I've hosted the Find the Pink Microphone contest on fitzness.com for someone to win the brand new hoodie. That's right, I've got a brand new Fitzness design I'm really excited to share, but with that form you filled out just to say where you found the pink microphone, I asked if you had any questions, and so many of you have had great questions. And so I'm going to answer those right now. If you listen to this before midnight on June 12th, that's midnight Eastern, head over to fitzness.com and look for that pink microphone. Not a photo of me carrying a microphone with a pink windscreen, an actual graphic. And then you too can enter to win that hoodie. And the hoodie is so cute. If you haven't seen it yet, it's beautiful. It's the American flag, and the red stripes are red running shoes. And then instead of stars, they're little microphones. And it was just so cute. I'm very excited about it. So anywho, if you don't win one, I will also have them for sale at some point. But yeah, stoked about the hoodies, stoked about all your questions, and stoked about you listening to the Fitzness Show. I love my audience, and you guys are growing all the time. I appreciate all of those of you leaving reviews wherever you listen. That means a lot to me, and all the feedback I get is pretty fantastic too. And again, the questions, it's nice for me as an expert in fitness and the running arena to be able to help you do better and be better, because that's why I'm here, right? Right. So I'm going to get on with that project right now because you have questions and I have answers. And I plucked some good ones that I'm really excited about answering. So for starters, my friend Chris asked how to keep running in your 60s and beyond. And I love that question because I'm guessing Chris is 60 and plans to keep going. And, being fit, being healthy and athletic in your senior years should start before you get there, right? So if you want to be an athletic, sturdy, 70, 80, 90-year-old who doesn't fall down, who still has a capacity to go have fun and do things you like to do, travel, play, dance, etc. Well, you should start that early on. And so if you're younger than that, great. Start now. And I'm guessing if you're my listener, you have already started because that's why you listen, right? You care about health and fitness, and that's why fitness is a part of your life. But the secret to aging athletically is to stick with it, right? And here's the deal. If you're 48 and you've never been athletic, okay, there's still time. There's absolutely still time. I know so many people who just started running in their 60s and then they qualified for Boston, and they're doing fantastic things with their health and they're living a life of athletic adventure. So, start early if you can, but if not, start now. And then the secret to doing anything athletic for the long haul is uh, pursuing the 4 pillars of fitness. And I talk about that a bunch, but you should not just choose one activity that you'd like to do and do that same thing over and over and over again, because the benefits are going to be limited, right? You're only going to be good and capable at that one thing. And runners, I tell you, runners, I'm looking you in the eye through this podcast, poking you in the chest. Runners tend to only run, and it's a really bad habit. I mean, yay, be proud of running. Hooray. I'm giving you the clap right now. But if you're only running, you're failing in 75% of the other areas of fitness, and that's not acceptable. So the 4 pillars of fitness that everybody should be pursuing at some level, most days of the week: cardiorespiratory fitness. So that is anything that makes you huff and puff. That's running, dancing, karate, swimming, whatever. But it's huff and puff. That's cardiorespiratory fitness. The second pillar of fitness is strength. That is your ability to push, pull, lift, and press against resistance. And it's not just about having strong biceps or a juicy booty. It's about total body strength. So you should have a strong neck. That'll make you so much less likely to have whiplash if you're in a fender bender or a big car accident, right? You want your arms, your shoulders, your torso, your legs, your glutes, your hips. All of these body parts matter. And if they're all strong, you're going to be able to do pretty much anything you want for the rest of your life. In fact, I truly believe strength training is the fountain of youth. If I have to choose only one pillar of fitness to go with for the rest of my life, it's going to be strength training. That is number one on my list without a second place. So, strength training right there. Cardio, of course, heart and lungs is really important too, but I truly believe in strength, I'm leaning in while saying that because I know so many of you just don't do it, right? Women, you think, "Oh, I'm gonna get bulky." Baloney. You're not gonna get bulky. Women don't make enough testosterone to grow real big unless we're making dramatic efforts with nutrition and supplements. If you're your regular run-of-the-mill gal, you're probably not going to get anything close to bulky if you are lifting weights without being incredibly aggressive with strength and nutrition. So I tell you what, when I go to the gym, I go balls to the wall. I am hard on strength training. I am lifting as much as I can and grunting and cursing. And you see me, I'd like to think there's some bulk, but I'm just not. I'm not. I'm lean, but I'm strong. And that's how I like it to be. So strength, important. Next up, flexibility. That's your body's ability to move through a broad range of motions without sprains, strains, and tears. Your body is made to, move in all sorts of directions, just shy of Gumby status, right? So your chest will open your arms up way far back behind you. In fact, some people can touch the back of their hands together. That's how far back our chest should be able to reach. And then all the way forward, up and over your head. You should be able to touch your toes or come darn near to it because they're your toes, right? Your legs aren't unreasonably long. How preposterous for you to be able to touch your toes. No, they're your legs. Your body should be able to bend forward, and your arms are pretty long, right? If you can bend reasonably forward, you probably should be able to touch your toes. If not, you can work on that, right? But flexibility, if you are flexibility, if you're bleh, sorry, words, if you are flexible, you are less likely to have a sprain, strain, or tear doing mundane things and then having a whoops. So let's say you're running and your right foot hits a slippery spot in the road and it jets out to the side, right? All of a sudden you're going forward, and then boom, that right leg goes out to the side. Well, you could tear your inner thigh muscle, your adductor, if you are not flexible. But if your adductor is nice and flexible, reaching out to the side at a, I don't know, 90-degree angle out there isn't a big deal for you, you're not going to get hurt. Okay. And so that's the rest of your body is when you yank into a position your body is not prepared to go, that's when you get hurt. And so flexibility is very, very important. Plus, if you are flexible, you're not stiff. And again, nobody says like my neck is stiff and means it in a positive way. Stiffness feels bad. So the opposite of stiffness is mobile, right? So work on being mobile every day. And not only will that affect the way you feel as a person, but that will enhance your ability to be athletic into your golden years. And then last but not least, which this one's a real doozy, and this is one I think most people are not taking advantage of, is balance. And the reason balance training is important is, say it with me, so you don't fall down. That's right. If you have quality balance because you have been working on it, you are less likely to fall down. And that's not only walking on a flat path, but if you walk on an uneven path or you're not paying attention and you go to step off or step to the side and you step off a step, if your proprioception, that's your body's ability to regain balance without you really even thinking of it, you don't break your hip. You don't break your skull, right? Because when you fall down, bad things happen when we're grown-ups. When we were little, we fell all the time. I don't even understand how we survived childhood with all the falls. But as a grown-up, woof, falling down feels super duper bad. So I want you to prevent that. And how do you do balance training? It's so simple. Stand up wherever you are, unless you're driving, stand up, stand up, stand up. Okay, now stand on one foot. If you're super wobbly, you can hold on to something, but just right there, standing on one foot, that's balance training. So ideally, you'll try to stay on one foot for, I don't know, 30 seconds. See how that works. If you can stay upright on 30 for 30 seconds without any trouble, fantastic. You're starting out in a good place. If you want to make that more challenging, and I encourage you to do so, so your balance improves, you can add on a little bit of intricacy to the exercise. So you're standing on one foot. That feels good. Now close your eyes. Okay, you should start feeling completely off kilter with that move. And if you're driving and you're hearing me, okay, save this one for later. Note what I'm telling you to do. I want you to practice standing on one foot. If that becomes easy, close your eyes and you'll feel a big difference, right? If your hips are moving, your knees are moving, your feet are engaged, that's a good thing, right? So if you're toppling over, then that's not so good. But if you are shifting and wobbling around, that means you're challenging your body. That means you're challenging your balance and you're making progress. Once standing on one foot is easy and standing on one foot with your eyes closed is easy, open your eyes and then flap your arms like a bird. Play catch while standing on foot. Reach and, I don't know, get a cup out of the cabinet standing on one foot. There are all sorts of activities you can do on one foot that will enhance your balance. So I do that when I'm brushing my teeth. If I brush my teeth, I'm on one foot. That's just routine for me. When I let my dogs to go potty out the back, I get down on the ground and I do all sorts of hip stretches every single time. So it's routine for me. So throughout every day, I'm doing a little bit of balance, I'm doing a little bit of stretching, and that all adds up. When it comes to huffing and puffing, long endurance activities, running 4 miles, swimming for 20 minutes, those are really good. But you could also jump rope for 20 minutes or do 60 seconds of burpees, get your heart rate up, or climb 3 flights of steps at work. And when your heart rate gets up, you're making progress. So don't ever feel like you have to have 30 minutes or it's not worth it. That's baloney. Anytime you get your heart rate to spike, you're making progress with that cardiorespiratory fitness. And then again, with strength, that's another thing you can weave in throughout each day. You could drop and do 20 push ups. That'll make you stronger. You don't have to have a 60-minute strength training routine to make progress. You can make progress with, I don't know, 3 minutes of lunges. Woo wee, you'll have a sore tush the next day. So there are some rules about it. You can go back to previous episodes of the Fitzness Show and hear all about strength training and all about the 4 pillars of fitness. But know that if you want to keep running in your 60s and 70s and 80s, the real secret is pursuing those 4 pillars of fitness and then continuously training with running. I also encourage you not to overdo it with running, right? So don't feel like you need to put in 150 miles a week. I think that's crazy. Unless you're a high caliber marathon competitor, you don't need that much. In fact, there's a way to really overdo and overuse your body, and then you end up injured. So be diverse about it. Maybe run 3 days a week and save the other days a week for your other pillars of fitness or different types of cardiovascular fitness, something that's not putting the same exact type of weight on your body, the same type of burden, the pounding. You're swimming, you're dancing. Golly, I'm doing ballroom dancing right now. I do it once a week and I freaking love it. And one of the things I realized is it's pretty damn gentle. It's gentle. I mean, I am moving. I have it's really cardio and fun, but I'm not pounding, and that's a great gift because I also do a lot of pounding, right? I love jumping rope for crying out loud. So, anyways, diversify. Diversify your cardio. If you want to run for a very long time, do not run every day. Do not run too much. Make running a part of what you do, not the only thing you do. Okay, that was a great question. And that was a lengthy answer. Sorry, not sorry. All of those things had to be said. All right. My next question is from Natasha, who says she just had her DIEP surgery on Monday and would love some exercise recommendations once she's recovered. And then also, when asked if she has any idea how much I love her, she says she thinks so. So, Natasha, no, it's full fledged. It's bizarre. It's too much. It's too much. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself. Okay. So, the DIEP surgery, for those of you who are not in the know, good for you. It's good not to know certain things, right? But for those of us who've had breast cancer, we start to learn all these weird words and you learn what mastectomy is and partial mastectomy and certain reconstruction procedures and so forth. And so Natasha's telling me she had a mastectomy and now she's had reconstruction. And of course, you can do that with implants, nothing wrong with that. But she's chosen to do an implant or she's chosen to reconstruct with likely fat from her abdomen, where they basically remove it and then transplant it into your breast. So there's a few ways they've done this over the past. They used to do an abdominal flap where they actually would take the abdominal muscles and to recreate your breast or support your breast, and then a lat flap pulling muscles from your back. Yikes! They still do those things, and woof, they scare me. Funny, I did. My golly, I was young. I was maybe 22 years old and certainly not knowing what I was in for. But I ended up getting certified on how to train women or men even who have had breast cancer surgery. So, a lot of this information I've known for a long time. And I would think, woof, those poor ladies, of course, never thinking that I would be one of those ladies. How did that happen? But anywho, so she's had this surgery and she would like to get back to normal. And Natasha, I want you to get back to normal too. And since you've recently had your surgery, what I need you to do immediately, do not pass go, do not collect $200, is get an appointment with a physical therapist. So talk to your doctor and say, I need to see a PT. And a PT is a medically savvy version of a a personal trainer. A PT is going to assess you. They're going to say, okay, this is where you are right now. This is where you're tight. This is where you're weak. They're probably going to be able to look at your sutures and let you know if your incision is ready for exercise. So start with them, please, 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 and thank you. See them at least once, twice. If you can see them for a few weeks at a time and you have insurance and it'll help you with that, I highly recommend. I did. I certainly use physical therapy to get through my treatment, not just surgery, but radiation. Golly, I was shocked at how much harm radiation did to the overall tissue on my left side. So I still go. I'm years out and I still have to go see a PT because this cancer nonsense, it hasn't been kind to me. But anyways, with the DIEP. So you go to PT, you do that for starters. You do nothing your doctor doesn't allow you to right away because the last thing we want to do is promote infection or harm those incisions in either location, right? You've got both abdominal and breasts uh, incisions. So lucky you, Natasha. But you know what? It's all going to work out for you. I know it is. And you'll look back one day like I do and think, holy cow, was that actually me? I can't believe that was me. But once you're there, hopefully the PT has steered you in the right direction. There's a couple things that I believe you need to work on. Number one is your back strength. So these breast surgeries tend to tighten up our chest, tighten up our armpits if we've had lymph nodes removed, and they roll our shoulders forward, which is not good for anybody. And so working on rows, working on reverse flies, that's gonna be a really big deal. Now, reverse flies, if you don't know what they are, go to fitzness.com, look at the videos, free videos. There's back exercises. You'll hear me doing reverse flies. Now, no, you're gonna bring your arms backwards, like straight out in front of you and pull them back. Because of your tightness, you might not be able to bring your arms even with your body. Okay, just go as far as you can comfortably go and return to the starting position. No, as a rule of thumb, when you're injured, pain means stop. Okay. So there's a difference between feeling, woof, this is hard, and ouch, that hurts. And if it's an ouch that hurts, especially in your position, don't do it. So stop if you get an ouch. If you're being challenged, that's okay. So we're going to work our back with rows and reverse flies. You can certainly work on your shoulder strength, work those uh, anterior delts, your lateral delts, front delts, do military press, front raises, lateral raises. So that's for strength right there. But you're also going to need to earn some mobility back. And again, so these breast reconstruction or breast surgeries we have tend to roll us forward. The same thing will happen with your abdominal surgery. You'll probably be protecting it and you'll probably be hunching a little bit. So we want to get you standing up straight. Now, again, maybe not today, but that's the goal. I remember when I had my partial mastectomy. My surgeon had me, it was his idea. He says, get a broomstick, hold it in front of you, hands on the outside of your thighs, maybe a foot on the outside of either thigh. And then your goal is to bring the broomstick up over your head and pull it behind your head and eventually get it all the way down to your tush. Took a really long time to do that. Sometimes I was just lifting the stick up, got kind of to my forehead, and I'd put it down. But once I got my arms up towards the sky, then I started to feel the pull. Okay, I did that. That was a gentle stretch, and then I stopped. And then I'd try again later in the day. And stretching is something you can do frequently. So feel free to do these exercises 5 times a day, at least the stretching exercises. So broomstick all the way over the head. That might take you a few weeks or even a month to get your arms all the way over your head, but that's something you should work on. You can also do that stretching exercise with a band, with a belt, with a rope of any sort. In fact, if you go to those free videos on fitzness.com, you'll find upper body stretches with bands. That will be a big deal for you. That video is something you should put on replay. And again, I'm going through the full range of motion in those videos. You do what you can. And then you're also want to gain flexibility in your abdominal area, right? Because ouch, you're probably hunched over. Those muscles have become a little tighter. So when you've been given permission, you can do simple things. Just standing up, you can arch your back, poke your belly button forward. That's step one, right? You're just gonna lean your shoulders back, lean your belly button forward. Terrible posture to be arched back that way, but this is going to be good for you. This is an actual stretch. And then if that feels good, eventually you can take it down to the ground, prone, down on your face, hands at your side, and push up a little bit. And you're going to feel that pull, yield to it. Hold in that position where you feel woof, that I can feel that. Once you can feel it, that's enough. And then relax and do it again and relax and hold each stretch for 10 to 15 seconds. And eventually, what you want to be able to do is, oh my gosh, what do the yoga people call it? I forget what yoga people call it. They got all these names for things that I just don't care about. I just demonstrate exercises. But hands down on the ground, I think it's like upward dog, upward moose, upward cow, something like that. But yeah, where you're looking at the sky, nose to the stars while your hips are on the ground. So that would be the ultimate stretch, right? But yeah, just trying to press that belly button out, lean back. That'll be a nice stretch for you. And then, of course, abdominal strength training, planks will be smart. Working your obliques will be wise, your rectus abdominis. I mean, it's all going to be a rebuilding process, right? And it's baby steps. That was my secret to my success. I was beaten up so badly by my treatment. I ended up 110 pounds and scrawny, and I just lost almost all of my strength, even though I'd been working on it. I can't imagine how bad I would have been off if I wasn't working on it along the way. But when I turned the corner a little bit halfway through my treatment, what I decided is I am not going to set myself back. I've been through enough. I've been tortured by this treatment for this disease. I am not going to do anything to make my life more difficult. And so my goal was 1% better every day, right? Just a little tiny bit. If I could walk one block on one day, I would walk one block and 1 yard the next day. I mean, literally, I went baby steps, and because of that, I never inflicted a setback on myself, which was really important. Because again, this stuff is so freaking hard, and you've been through so much, Natasha. I'm sure if you're having these surgery, well, I'm not sure. I'm pretty confident you're dealing with radiation, probably chemo too. I mean, golly, there's a lot, and then the other drugs they're going to give you. It's just you have been through enough. So you have to be compassionate with yourself, yet determined and disciplined to get yourself back to not only normal, but go way beyond normal. Go past normal because you have a profound understanding on how sweet life is and how meaningful it is to feel good and be able to be active because you've had so many days where you could not be active and you did not feel good. And so, moving forward, let's go full throttle on fitness, on health, and let you be the freaking dream person you always meant to be because breast cancer is stupid. And cancer's stupid and it can't hold you back. How dare it even try, right? So I think I went through it all. We went through back strength, flexibility, basically for the front side of your body, right? Your chest, your shoulders. You're going to do all sorts of exercises where you bring your arms out wide, where you bring your arms up high, where you lean back, um, hips forward, shoulders back to stretch out those abdominals. And again, those upper body stretches with bands are going to target your abs and your chest. So again, be careful starting out after you've seen the PT because they're great stretches, but really only go through a tiny bit until you're ready for more. Yeah, that's what I recommend for you. Also, I did just mention strength training for your abdominals. Make sure you target your low back. So, as you're prepared, as you're allowed, planks, crunches, and then Supermans and bridges. Because when we work on our abs, we always want to make sure our low back muscles, those erector spinae muscles in our glutes, are equally strong. I wish you all the success in the world. I'm not going to wish you luck. Luck is stupid. I wish you hard work. I wish you the commitment it takes to rebuild your body and get back to feeling fabulous. And I believe you can do it. Thanks, Natasha. Okay. Oh, also with this form, I asked people, do you know have any idea how much Fitz loves you? And I love the answers. One said, just found you by listening to the Rise and Run podcast. I'm hooked. The other one says, when I said, do you know how much Fitz loves you? She said, I think you. I think so. That's Natasha. All right. Next question is from Allison, who says that yes, she knows how much I love her. And her question is, when are you getting a fitzness app? Whew, not anytime soon, Allison. I'm so sorry, but it just seems like a big headache to me. I don't know. I'm very tech savvy. I mean, I'm very tech savvy, but creating an app and managing an app, I don't know. For some reason, it reminds me when I was younger, I had people had it offered to invest in a fitness center for me, and then I thought, gosh, if I do that, then I won't be teaching fitness. I'll be managing a staff and buying equipment and making sure bathrooms are clean, and that might take me away from the actual act of connecting with people. So right now, I don't have any ambitions to have an app. You're not the first person to ask, and perhaps I'll get there one day. But and it might be very moronic of me to just to be honest with you. I might be totally left in the dust because I didn't create a fitness app. But for right now, I'm just not there. Perhaps one day I will. But I love that you're thinking about it and wishing for it. And hopefully fitzness.com suffices. Hopefully there's enough content there that's user friendly and easy for you to access that you're getting as much of me as you need. And of course, Instagram and Facebook. Come on, I never stop. Okay. Next question is from, I'm going to say it. It's Tim Patton. That's right. I'm throwing out the last name, Tim Patton. He's one of my favorites. He's from Ohio. He just retired as a police sergeant in Cleveland. And Tim has run so many of my races. And he calls me his PR queen because almost every time he runs my races, he PRs. And yeah, he's fantastic. I love Tim. And Tim brings me snacks and decaffeinated Diet Coke when he runs my races, which is a fine way to bribe your favorite race announcer into giving you obnoxious love at a start and finish line. So thank you for this great question, Tim. And when he's asked if he has any idea how much I love him, he says, I got a pretty good idea with a wink. So good for you, Tim. Smart man. Okay. He says, what was the hardest part of my marathon training when I ran Boston, which was 21? The hardest part for me was dealing with the Florida weather. So I ran Boston in October and I had to train in the Florida heat. I think I started in June for crying out loud, right when it's getting in the 90s and the humidity is off the chain. And I started training outdoors because, the race is outdoors. So I prefer to train the way you're going to perform. However, it just wasn't doable. I did my first 10 miler and I walked. That was my first Boston effort. I thought, I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk 10 miles. And I did. It probably took me about 2 hours that day. I tried to stay in the shade and I made it 10 miles and I was very, very tired when I was done. But that gave me confidence that I could go the distance. So I started with, I did two 30-minute runs per week. This was my training schedule. I did a 30-minute run on Monday, a 30-minute run on Wednesday, and then on Friday I would do a long run. And so my long run started with 10 miles and then eventually it was 12 miles and then it went to 14 and so forth. But when I got to half marathon, which I think was about, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks after I started my training, I went out on Hawthorne Trail right outside Gainesville, and or maybe it's in Gainesville. It's on the edge. Anyways, it's a long 30-mile trail that's partially wooded, kind of in the swamp. And I went out at 7 a.m. thinking I'm going to get out there early and I'm going to run before it gets too hot. And so I parked the car and then I ran 6.5 miles out. Mind you, I had water with me, Gatorade, whatever. I ran 6.5 miles out. And then the second I turned to get back to my car, I started puking. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. I probably puked in 10 different spots between the turnaround point and my car. And at a few times, I just lied flat out on the trail like a dead person, like a starfish with my arms up, my legs out to the side. And at one point, there was an alligator growling from somewhere, and I was yelling, just eat me, just get it over with, just eat me. So, oh, I was very grateful I made it back to the car because it was probably at about mile 11 where my fitness IQ kicked in and I thought, "Oh crap, I have heat exhaustion. This is what's going on." Like it just didn't even dawn on me. I guess that's what happens when you get heat exhaustion. You're not thinking very straight. And I thought, damn it, I need to be careful. So I took it very, very slow, got in the car, drank a whole bunch, relaxed. And then I decided, no more. I am not going to be this stupid person. I am a lifelong Floridian. I know not to mess with the heat. So, uh, done with that. I started training on the treadmill. So I think not all of them. Almost all of my long runs after that were on the treadmill, and so just dealing with the heat was hard. Once I got in on the treadmill, I gotta tell you, the treadmill's pretty freaking nice. I had my iPad with Netflix, and I had the air conditioning, and I had a place to rest my drink, and if I had to pee, I could jump off the treadmill and then come back, and, yeah, I mean, was it boring? Do people I just don't get why people call it the treadmill. I too like being outside, but there are some incredible comforts to being inside in an air-conditioned space without having to worry about stranger danger or storms or being out at night or bugs or cars or any of those things. So the hardest thing for me was the heat. Other than that, it was just about putting in the miles and getting it done. And I put a ton of time into strength training. I was so committed to my strength training, which I know went a long way, and stretching and balance. And that felt great. That was it. That was it. That was the hardest part, dealing with the heat. Stupid heat, although I love it, right? That's why I live here. Okie dokie. Next question from Shannon. And her response to, does she know how much Fitz loves her? She said a ton. She is always supportive and the best there is. Well, thank you, Shannon. And so Shannon has lost almost 70 pounds. I'm going to tell you, I know exactly who this is, and she has lost an extraordinary amount of weight. I'm so proud of her. And her question is, what is the easiest way for her to maintain the weight loss when she reaches her goal? So, for starters, don't go back to your old shitty habits. Look at me. I've said shitty twice, now three times in this podcast. I am becoming a hooligan. My. But yeah, the secret is don't go back to being the person you were before. The person you were before was obese. Those habits did you no good, right? You definitely don't want to go and be whoever it was you were before. That would be absurd. And in fact, if you love where you are now, you have to fight to keep it. And I'm 40 pounds less than I was in high school and my freshman year of college. And when I lost that 40th pound, it was right before my first fight. And I remember looking in the mirror thinking, whew, I like this. This is where I've always kind of wanted to be. And now I'm here. Hooray. And I finished my fight. And at the post fight, there was a there was a post fight party for all the fighters and trainers and so forth at a sports bar. And I walked into that sports bar and it was just a smorgasbord. And I really hadn't eaten much. I hadn't eat a glamorous amount of food over the past couple weeks because I had to drop weight to fight someone who was supposed to be smaller. I ended up fighting a person who was way bigger, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, I walk into the sports bar at my favorite way, the weight that I'm thrilled with, and all the stuff they had on buffet were chicken wings and french fries and onion rings, and it was just all fried foods. And I could have indulged. I could have said, "You know what? I've worked hard, I've lost weight, and I just had a great fight, and I deserve this." But instead, I thought, "You know what? I'm keeping this, man. I am keeping this. I am not going to let this go," because my whole teenage life, I had wanted to shrink down, to lose my love handles and the tummy fat I had, and all of this extra stuff on me that I just didn't want to be there. So I got in there and I made a decision. And you know what? Instead of eating all that free fried food that was delicious, I pulled up my purse, my wallet, whatever I had, credit card, and I bought myself a grilled chicken salad. And that was the day I decided I was never going to gain it back. And so, Shannon, I need you to make that decision. You are not going to go back to your old habits. You are going to continue exercising. You know you can. You know it makes you feel good. You know you're good at it. And then you're going to stick with the exact formula for weight loss. That is just you eating the right amount of the right food for the size you want to be. There's no trick to it. Folks, if you don't know what the exact formula for weight loss is, go to fitzness.com. It's right on the cover. But you're not on a diet. You are definitely not on a diet. And you're not restricted from eating any of your favorites. You're just going to eat moderation for the weight you want to be. And you can tell your body, hey, I want you to weigh 143 pounds. And as long as you feed it no more than what a 143 pound person requires, you'll never gain the weight back. It's physically impossible to regain weight unless you're over consuming. So that's my advice for you, Shannon, is number one, do not go back to doing the things you used to do that led you so far down the wrong path. continue doing the things that are working for you now, and then just be really diligent about your intake. And you know what? Right now, you might have to write down or use an app to log your intake, your food, and your beverage calories, but eventually you'll be able to log it in your head like I do. And I have not and will never go back to being that much bigger girl. I'm committed to that. So I'm committed to me. You stay committed to you. And yeah, those 70 pounds will stay gone. You got rid of them. You didn't lose them. You got rid of them. You said, "Get the heck out of here. Goodbye. Uh, don't want to see you around here no more." So that was your choice. You just got to keep making that choice. And I'm so proud of you. You've done an extraordinary job. Okay, next question. Jennifer, I love this one. First of all, she says, "I can't love her as much as she loves me." I don't know if that's true, Jennifer. I love you so much. You would think I was weird if you knew how much I love you. Okay. So her question is, do I sleep with a fan at night? If so, how do I manage sleeping when I travel? It affects her sleep so much because she doesn't have a fan. So that's a good question. I do have a ceiling fan in my bedroom and it's on every night. And my house is pretty cool, but I do love the fan. And not every hotel has it, but I do not travel with a fan. So that doesn't really affect my sleep negatively not to have one. However, my kids went to this sleepaway cabin in the woods. Oh my gosh. And they had no air in their cabin and they were out there in Florida summer. If you can imagine, it's on the coolest part of the day, it's 88 degrees. And so they had these little portable fans, very small battery operated fan that she could just stick on her nightstand or we tied sometimes onto the bed or what do you call those? Zip tied and then they have fan blowing on their face and they could sleep. So I recommend getting a little teeny tiny lightweight, and I say teeny tiny. Maybe if you spread out all your fingers of your hand, a fan that size, not a teeny tiny, I don't know, size, not the size of a plum. We're talking about the size of a flat cantaloupe melon. Get a fan like that and just take it with you. We got to be creative and it may not be the same, but it'll be something. And then the other thing is if you like the noise, I think the noise from the fan is very calming and it blocks out other distracting noise. You could just use your phone, an app on your phone to play white noise. It sounds like a fan blowing or the ocean waves or a storm at night. That's a really good question. I'm sorry you have a problem sleeping on the road. Okay, this is my last question. Okay, this one. Let me see. Do I want to say his name? Okay, I'm not going to say his name, but he says he knows how much I love him because I tell him often, which I like that. You should always tell the people you love that you love them. Okay, his question is intermittent fasting a good way to get a better healthy gut? I say no, 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 because I think intermittent fasting is pretty stupid. Now, why? Because humans already have a fast built into their life. It's called sleep. That's right. We sleep for 6 to 9 to 10 hours a night. And you know what happens when we wake up? We break the fast by having a breakfast. That's right. There's already a fast built into each of our days, and it's called sleep. And so I really uh, am opposed to these diets, these tricks, these quick fix type methods of restriction. So you can't eat before noon or after 6 p.m. Are you freaking kidding me? That is so dumb. And question asker, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm calling the suggestion really stupid, really just so dumb. And I mean, I could say the word dumb 50 more times for you to get the gist, but I can't believe people fall for this stuff. I just can't believe anyone would wake up at 7:30 in the morning and say, "No, no, no. Even though I'm hungry, I'm not going to eat till noon. That's my first food of the day and I'm stopping at 6 and then I'll never have a bite." Well, that's ridiculous. That does not account for maybe you wanting to exercise in the morning or exercise at night or dealing with hunger. And when you have hunger, that often leads to headaches and frustration and irritability. There is absolutely no reason for a human in a first world country that's not homeless or stranded in the desert to deprive themselves of food. Now, what you should do is you should not overconsume. And the reason people lose weight while intermittent fasting is because They just don't squeeze in the same amount of calories that they traditionally do when they're eating between 7 and midnight, right? So they just eat mindlessly, and then they gain weight. Oh, surprise, right? So when you eat only between noon and 6, really what you're saying is, okay, I can only get 1,400 calories in that 6-hour window. So that's all I'll have. And then that's why people lose weight. But the second you go back to any of your old habits, you start regaining the weight. And what I find is any of these diets, and I just hate diets. If you look at fitzness.com, you will not find the word diet there used in a positive way. In fact, when I have other people write for my website, I tell them I don't even want you saying healthy diet or dietary guidelines because I don't want anyone considering the word diet to be positive in any way, shape, or form. You should not be people who diet. You should be mature adults who understand how much their body needs and what foods are better than the others. And you should make more good decisions than bad, right? You don't need to hold off until noon to eat when you're hungry or you have a headache. I mean, come on. So, okay, I stop. I try to not be so frustrated. What you're going to do is you're going to wake up and you have a little bit of food when you're hungry. Maybe you're going to have a protein bar or you're going to have some eggs and some fruit. You're going to have a few hundred calories in the morning. And then a couple hours later, you're going to have, I don't know, uh, a handful of nuts, or I don't know, you're gonna have a snack bar of some sort, and then a couple hours later, you're gonna eat some lunch. And then a couple hours later, you're gonna have a snack, and then a couple hours later, you're gonna have some dinner. You can eat 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, spread them out, and just have nothing but healthy, mostly healthy snacks and a beer. Whatever, you don't have to be perfect, but restricting yourself between noon and 6 or 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., whatever hours you've set yourself, I think is just a recipe for failure because it will lead to frustration and irritation and aggravation and lashing out and headaches and all those bad feelings. And then what will you do? You will go back to the old crappy habits you used to have. Instead, read the exact formula for weight loss and then choose wisely. And the things you can do for your gut health are to consume foods with probiotics. The other thing I highly recommend is eating lots of fruits and vegetables, drinking lots of water. You don't have to fast for 24 hours. Oh my God, that's the other thing I hear is people saying, once a week or once a month, I'm gonna fast for 24 hours to clean out my digestive system. Dumb, just so dumb. And I'm not picking on you if you've fallen for this before because I mean, there's so many liars out there selling you this garbage, selling you these tricks, acting like they know jack. They know nothing, especially some personal trainer at your gym that has some Cracker Jack certificate out of a Cracker Jack box should not be telling you how to eat. Do not take their advice on any of this stuff ever. Do not buy a pill or a powder from them either. That's just outrageous. But to keep your digestive system functioning at a high level, what do? You give it lots of fiber, right? Fiber aids digestion. That's the thing that says, "Come on, let's go, go, go. You got it. Digest. Let's go intestines. Let's go stomach. Keep a move on." That's the fiber is your digestive system coach, and so you want to give it plenty of fiber from your fruits and your veggies, right? Maybe some beans, legumes have some fiber, and then you also want to give it some water. So it's got the fiber, and now you keep dumping some water down the pipes and it just keeps those pipes moving. It keeps them clean. So you don't need to starve for 24 hours. I mean, that's just outrageous. And shame on all of the people that are trying to convince you that that stuff is a good idea. I wouldn't blame you if the last person who suggested you do this stuff, if you walked up and you just smacked him. I'm not saying close fists and punching in the face. I'm not but, but really, if somebody's effing with you and your health, maybe give them a smack and say, stop doing that. Or maybe just pinch them, right? Forget the smack. Let's pinch them or just tell them, don't ever give me advice again because I'm not taking your bozo advice, right? So I get angry, but I get angry because I love you so much. If I haven't told you, it really frustrates me that people are selling you lies and then you you spend your good money on some of these diets and pills and powders and it takes you nowhere fast but you earn that money and then you gave it away to a lying liar who lies and now you don't have your money which you could have been doing nice things with. You could have been buying fruit, you could have been going to see a movie with your child, you could be paying for exercise classes. So stealing is never okay, and those snake oil salesmen are nothing but thieves and vultures. But also, I don't want you to have these bad feelings that come with these severe restrictions. It's unhealthy. There's a lady in town, golly, I like her. Well, I don't like a lot of the things she does, but as a professional, she tells people the first thing they need to do is stop eating fruit. Oh, there's sugar in fruit. You should stop eating fruit. She literally takes people and deprives them of fruit. And I don't know, the second someone tells you raspberries are off limits, that's a deal breaker. That's an absolute freaking breaker. Please don't fall for that. And these are the same people like, oh, I lost 20 pounds doing so and so's program. And of course, I haven't had a fruit in 6 weeks, but I've lost 20 pounds. All right. Come back in 3 months and tell me how it's gone. And then 3 months later, they're back and they're bigger than they ever were. And they feel lied to and betrayed because they were. And so it's buyer beware. Don't ever fall for any of these diets, intermittent fasting. Golly, the only time you fast is if you're going to have surgery. Your doctor says, please don't eat after midnight because that may mess with your surgery. Other than that, I can't think of a really good reason to fast. And I know some religions do it, and that makes me very sad for those people in that religion. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's just and as an actual health and fitness expert, the deprivation of calories is not ideal. It's not good for your health. It might be spiritually beneficial in some regard, but for your actual health, your body relies on fuel. It relies on hydration and fuel, and that's exactly what food is. So, I am done with my Q&A, but listen, I love you sending your questions. You can send me questions via Instagram, via Facebook. You can go to fitzness.com. In the top right corner, there's a contact Fitz button, and you can just click on that and send me a question because you've got good ones. And I think I have good answers. And if I don't have a good answer, I will find someone who does, and we'll get you that information because I think it's important to do so since you care about your health, right? You're seeking out information, and I want to be that resource for you. So, okay, Q&A over for the day. Thanks so much for leaving a review. When you're done with this podcast, you're going to click like and subscribe and leave me a review. You're going to say something. I hope it's nice, but whatever. Just say whatever's on your mind. And our song of the day, are you ready for it? I'm really excited about this one. Huge fan, huge mega fan. The one and only Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady, Eminem has released a new song. It's pretty freaking fabulous. That's right. It's called Houdini. You need to add that to your playlist this week. You need to do any sort of exercise while listening to Houdini. You can do trail walking. You can do what are some other things you can do? You can play pickleball to Houdini. You can do underwater basket weaving with your Shocks waterproof headphones. That's not a plug for them. I don't work with them, but they do have some really good underwater headphones. But yeah, love that. And I love you. So thanks for listening. And yeah, reach out and say hi. So this isn't a one-way conversation. And if you like this information, tell a friend. That's right. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. All right, I got to go. I love you. Get to work. Bye, team.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to give the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Kohler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.